popping? We here. We here with Kaylee Rashidi from LegacyBuildersUS.com.
Legacy Builders
in the building, man. So today we're talking about why you should take the risk or take risks. What's that about? Let's go in. Shouldn't we play it safe? Let's.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you say that because that's why we came up with this topic, is because I feel like too many people are playing it way too safe, and even playing it safe is a risk in itself. It's important to take calculated risk in life.
Right. It's
important to be educated on what you're diving into, so you know the level of the risk. Right. There's still certain variables to where it's still uncertain. You can't control that, but you still are supposed to take that risk. Why? Right. Because if you don't take the risk, now you're gonna always ask yourself, what if? The risk of what if, the risk of not putting your best foot forward and doing something. Now, things can go wrong. Things may go wrong. And by Murphy's Law, things will go wrong. But if you don't even try to make something happen, then by all definition, nothing will happen. Just imagine that everybody on this panel didn't take a risk to do something, to do what we're doing right now.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And a lot of people, they'll never take a risk, and they'll take their dreams and goals to the grave with them. That's where most people goals and dreams go. They die with them in the cemetery. And I think people are afraid to fail. And and it's all about, like I said, it's about what that calculated risk is. You got to do your homework on what is that risk. That's just one of the number one rules in business. Okay, if I invest in this product, if I have shares in this company, what is the risk? How much am I willing to lose? If you're okay with that, go ahead and take that risk. Right. And even if you're not, sometimes you still got to do it, because you never know what's going to come out on the other side.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's crazy. I got something to show you. Put the screen on me real quick.
The big screen. Hold on.
Yeah. I want to check. See risk. Look at this shit. Hold on. Look at this little girl. Look at this shit.
Oh my God.
Look at this shit. Bow. Look at this little chick. Bow.
Damn.
That's risk for your ass. But look, check it out. Woo!
So she finally
did it.
Go. There you go. That's that leap of faith right there.
You see, it was a calculated risk. You saw she had the pads and the helmets and everything. You feel me? So
right. Well, the thing is that progress is on the other side of the risk you take. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, is one of those things where anything that you want to do, especially if you're trying to be successful in business, is going to be a risk, because it could just not work out. Like, there's no guarantee of any of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, doing whatever it does. You see what I'm saying? So, but the thing is, in order for anything to get done, or anybody that you see is successful, they're successful because they took the risk. You see what I'm saying? And so the problem is that most people are scared to take the risk because, I see it like this too. Sometimes people are scared to take the risk because they would rather fantasize about what could happen versus taking the risk, because the risk brings the reality of what is going to happen. You see what I'm saying? People are scared to find out what will happen. So it's like, it's one thing to think, oh, maybe I'll fail, but it's another thing to actually fail. So it's like, if you take the risk and fail, now it's like, oh shit, I've actually done this in reality and I failed, versus if you're just continuing to think about something you want to do, you never really do it, and you never take the risk. So you can still sort of like live in the fantasy of it working out, but also you don't have to deal with it failing. So you're just stuck in the same place. You know what I'm saying?
It's a poor mindset, because it's like they say, what if I fail versus what if I succeed?
Right.
They never think about that.
Scared money don't make no money. You feel me?
That's a fact.
Exactly. What's your thoughts, Rob?
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to take risks. At the end of the day, like you said, it's about calculated risk. There's risk in everything we do. And just like that video, that Miles showed. At the end of the day, she took the risk. She risked breaking bones. She you know what I mean? She risked getting a concussion. But in the end result was she made it. To Mr. Lucaria's point, on the end of risk, there's progress.
Right.
You need risk to grow. At the end of risk, there's going to be some type of reward. Now, It may not be the reward you want, but it's a reward on the back end of it. And so people got to realize you have to take risks. You know, otherwise, you know, you could play it safe. And to your point earlier on, Katie, playing it safe is a risk in itself. Because if you play it too safe, you run the risk of falling behind. You run the risk of losing. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where, you know, give you an example, you know, as a realtor, a person that stays in an apartment complex or an owner's house, they renting out a house. They don't want to take the risk to get another apartment, or they don't want to take a risk to buy a house. Now, such said owner, they want to sell, whatever reason they want to sell a house for, whether it's financial, whether they want to move on, they want to sell a house because you didn't take the risk of finding a new place or your own home. Now it backfires with a selling the house and you got to get the hell out. And now you got to scramble and pay way more somewhere else. And you might not even be able to find a place. And now you could be homeless because you got to get out by a certain date. And because of certain circumstances, you might not be able to find a place that you got to live in. And so now that risk came back and bit you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to Katie's point, risk can set you back. Not taking any risk will set you back. Not being playing it safe is going to give you some type of level of risk no matter what. So it's risk all the way around. Like I always say, it's a risk waking up. You can wake up and trip and bust your teeth on the sink. You know what I mean? Every move you make, there's a risk. So why not try to take calculated and control risk and see what the results are?
Yeah. I think a good thing about it, or I should say, one of the main things you got to look at is it being a calculated risk too. Because I think sometimes people, when they think of risk, they think about like just doing something super crazy, and just jumping out the window. And it's like, nah, it's not about that. It's about, hey, you know, there's a pathway to go from here to here, and you can take these steps from going to here. And, you know, if you take the risk to just even start going in that direction, right? Because the risk is really just getting out of your comfort zone to go in a certain direction. So it's not necessarily a thing where you got to do something elaborate or crazy, because a lot of times what happens is that those elaborate and crazy things usually end up in failure because you don't understand about being calculated about what you're trying to do. You see what I'm saying? So you don't have the knowledge of what you're trying to make happen as far as trying to make something happen. So it's a thing where, like, for example, if somebody's trying to start a business, right? You know, there's certain things that they may not have, you know, knowledge of. And they say, I must, you know, risk this and start a business. And then so they take out, like, you know, let's say $10,000 out of their savings, and then they dump it into something. You understand what I'm saying? And then they lose the $10,000 like within like 2 weeks or some shit. And it's just like they took a risk, but they didn't really know what they were doing because they weren't calculated in how they were going about things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if they're trying to, you know, start a business or run a business, and they say, okay, well, these are the steps that I need to take. I take these steps and I go in this direction. That's different than just sort of like doing things off of a whim. So I think sometimes when people think of risk, they think about just jumping out the window, and it's like not that thing. Just like how somebody says, like a person will be working a 9 to 5, and they say, "Man, I should take a risk and be an entrepreneur," and then they just quit their job like that day. Right. And I'm like, nah, that's not. You know what I'm saying? That's not taking a risk. You're just being stupid. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like so people got to understand the difference. You know what I mean? Because the risk would be, okay, I'm working here, and I'm going to start a business, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start saving more money, and when I get off of work, I'm going to start actually, you know, understanding what I need to do to create this business, and then take this step, that step, and then once I have this amount of money saved up, I'm going to put more time into this. And you see what I'm saying? Like it's a process. It's a process, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, that's real. And even on the opposite side of the spectrum, like some people are too careful, right?
Right.
So then they're too technical. So then they'll never jump and take that risk. They have they want all the answers before they actually do the thing.
Do anything, right?
Right. You get what I'm saying? Versus saying, okay, I have enough information, and based off of this information I have, I'm going to actually, like you said, start this business. But they won't do that because they're waiting for more information versus just actually starting the business.
Right.
And because there's no business to where you're gonna have all the answers right away.
Right.
The risk is just getting up and starting it with enough information and enough resources to start the business.
Right.
Just get it started. And then as you go along, you're going to learn, the do's and don'ts and the nature of that business. But it all stemmed and breeded from you just taking that risk to actually start that business and do that thing, you know? And that's what most people are in fear of. They're in fear of, them going through the journey and through the path to success of the failure. When just do it. Right. You get what I'm saying? Like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You fail or you do it again? Or what's the worst thing that's going to happen? That you don't get it right and then you go back to what you was doing anyway?
Right, exactly.
That was the biggest thing for me. Becoming an entrepreneur, I said to myself, what's the worst that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is that it doesn't work and I go back to what I was doing. That's it. When I understood it from that perspective, then it was a lot easier for me to, take that risk and go out there and put myself out there and do it. And the more that we do, it's like anything, like you in the gym, you build up that muscle. It was a mental muscle of me knowing, okay, I can do this, and, make a note of the mistakes so we don't make them again.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And continue on that path. So just life in general, is pure risk. The nature of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are afraid of, excuse me, Rashidi, but I just real quick, I think a lot of people are afraid of the lesson because our ego tells us that it's a loss or a failure, but it's really just a lesson. You know, if you try something and it don't work, like you said, you could either go back to what you was doing, or you could just take the data that you learned from the experience and then add that to your next step. But so many times we compare ourselves to others, or we look at how fast others did it, and so if it doesn't work in the same amount of time, then we consider it a failure because our ego is looking at it a certain way, when it's not necessarily a failure, it's just a lesson. And again, another thing, when it comes to risk and learning lessons and quote unquote failing or whatever you want to call it, what a lot of people don't understand is that the reason why you have to go through these experiences, like you said earlier, Kaleem, the journey and all of those different things and the lessons, the reason why you have to do that is because, number one, success is a decision, right? So if you realize that success is a decision, then it's really just time, faith, and work, right? That's going to get you there. But the other thing is that we don't attract what we want. We attract who we are. So guess what? In order to become the person that understands what's on the other side, you got to go through the shit that's going to bring you the knowledge to get to the other side. That's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people, you see, and I get excited when I talk because, like, as I talk, ideas like start flowing in, and I just get really excited. Because this is one of the reasons why college, in a lot of ways, is like a scam and a farce. And here's what I mean when I say that. A lot of people look at college and like book learning as the pinnacle of knowledge, when truthfully the pinnacle of knowledge is experience.
Correct.
Problem with book learning is that just sitting there and reading a book and taking written exams is cool, but why do you think that you have classes that you have to do labs? Why do you think in classes you got to do projects?
Right.
And sometimes you could fail the lab, sometimes you could fail the project. It will be the same thing if you was out in the real world trying to do a project and it didn't work. Like, say you're an artist and you did a whole art gallery project and nobody showed up to your art gallery exhibit. And you consider it a failure. But the thing is, if you want to truly be an artist, you got to know what it is for nobody to show up to your shit.
Right.
Because your chosen profession demands that you continue to work on your craft in spite of nobody showing up.
Right.
But if you don't get that experience, then you don't have true knowledge of what it takes to be an artist. And you can't learn that in no book.
Right.
You got to do all the work, put all your shit up in the gallery, invite everybody to come. And then when they don't show up, you got to still be like, you know what? I'm going to start on the next project. Maybe I need to learn how to market better. Maybe I need to learn, to increase my network. Maybe I need to learn different things. Maybe I need to get a better location. There's something to learn. But because of our ego, we don't want to go through the experience that helps us learn, because we can only see it as a failure because we're in our feelings, not realizing how much the experience is so necessary to really teach us what we need to know to become the person that can attract the quote unquote success that we want.
Right. Now that's real talk. And also too, like, because I was watching this rapper named Lil Russell. He was talking about this on one of his vlogs or whatever, and he was saying that a lot of times you end up getting ideas based on doing things. So when you take the risk to start doing something, then other ideas pop up which can bring you more money, could bring you more things that can go on. So like let's say, for example, you might say, oh, I want to like I'll use the art gallery example. You might say, oh, let's do this art gallery thing. And then you put up the art gallery. And then while you're sitting there in the art gallery, and you're looking around, you say, you know what? We could actually put like a video game station over there and like charge people to put in quarters and play video. You see what I'm saying? But you would have never thought about that until you was in the art gallery, standing in that moment, in that place. You see what I'm saying? So it's like ideas, start to pop up because you took the risk in the first place to get yourself in a particular situation to create more ideas. Because the second idea wouldn't have came up if you wouldn't have had the first idea, and the third idea wouldn't have came up if you didn't have the second idea. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you got to do this shit first. So you got to actually take the risk, do something, and then your brain starts to say, "Oh, I wouldn't even had realized this or thought about this because I wouldn't have been in the situation to think about this. And the only reason I'm in the situation to think about this now is because I took the risk in the first place to be in this situation." You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times what happens is that people are missing out on opportunities just by not taking the risk in the first place, because there's so many different opportunities that arise as a result of taking a risk.
That's a fact.
It's crazy.
You know what that made me think about once you said that? You know why most people keep their money in the bank?
Why? Why is that?
Well, one, it has you have easy access to the money. That's first, right? But the money is safe there.
Right.
There's very to no risk in something going wrong with the money. That's why most people keep it there, because of the safety and the security that the bank is supposed to quote unquote have, right? That's why most people put their money in the bank,
right? Because
it's very to little to no risk. Do you know, in the market, right, when we participate in it, guess what? We can make a lot of money no matter what: stocks, bonds, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, whatever it is, right? Having shares in a company, mutual funds. But you know why some people still are hesitant to participate in the market? Because it's risky.
Right.
And you could lose a lot of money.
Right.
And they're in fear of that. But these same people will go to the casino, lose like all their money, knowing that the risk is high that they'll lose the money anyway. Right.
Right.
At a casino. But the point is that the risk factor is there in that market.
Yo, that's so funny how people fucking gamble. Yeah, they gamble, but they would never invest in a mutual fund.
You get what I'm saying? You think about it, it's crazy, right? And that's why we talk about, we always, in financial services, we talk about insurance, specifically life insurance, because the risk is still there, but it's just lower. And you as the client, you don't take on the risk. The life insurance company actually takes the risk. So when the gains are up in the market, you participate in it, you get those gains. But when the market goes down and it tanks, you don't receive any loss. So you're not taking any of the risk. The life insurance company is the one who took that risk. So that's why we always highlight about the life insurance, because of the little to no risk factor in that. So there's risk in everything, so the money game. So I wanted to highlight that when it comes to the different market strategies and how it could be a risk factor. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, no, yeah. Risk really, it gives you the opportunity to learn. Like Mr. Locario said, like a risk gives you the chance to learn. It puts you in positions that you would have never been in if you didn't take the risk. That's why I don't know if you guys saw that movie, The Boy in the Bubble. You got that joke when you burst his bubble because you're not prepared for the world. With The Boy in the Bubble, as soon as his bubble was popped, he got all kind of diseases, all that type of stuff because he was covered, not taking any risks. So as soon as he got out that bubble, everything became a risk. Ironically.
That's
so
I know that's
to your all's point, come full circle, man. Like you know what I mean? Like you gotta take risks to move forward, man. And you got to because you're not building up that resilience. You know what I mean? Like if you're a fighter, if you're not taking any punches, you can't take a punch. Like you know what I mean? Like you have to take these risks.
Yep. And I'll add this too. Because even in the
it's real talk at the end of the day, man. Like,
are you delayed?
Yeah, I think
Rashidi's delayed. I think he can't hear you.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say that even in the pharmaceutical industry, a lot of people don't notice, but when you take a flu virus, they inject you with the flu. Like I don't know if people notice, but when you say you're getting a flu virus or some type of shot, what they do is they inject you with what's considered a benign version. And it's not even necessarily benign, but they inject you with a version of the flu. Okay. A lot of people, when they go get their flu vaccine, the reason why the vaccine is effective is because you now have the flu. So now that you have the flu, you can't get it no more. That's all it is. So because the reason why you could go look this up if you don't believe me or whatever, but again, this is why it comes full circle. If you think about what I'm saying, you have to become the person that can survive the flu to survive the flu.
Exactly right.
So when you go in to get some vaccine to make you innocuous to the flu, to make you invincible to the flu, what they're doing is they're injecting you with the flu. Because I want y'all to understand this. There's a lot of people that when they go get their flu vaccine, they actually get sick for a couple of days.
Right.
I actually know someone, a coworker of mine, God rest her soul. She went to go get her. She was an older lady though, and this is why sometimes it could be very fatal. She went to go get her flu vaccine on a Thursday. She got sick on Friday, and Monday morning they was telling us that she passed over the weekend.
That's crazy.
You understand? So some people, they go and get their vaccine, but if their immune system or through age or whatever, they're not ready for it, they can actually, it could actually be fatal. So, but again, I only bring that up. This fucking nigga Diddy. I'll only bring that up I bring that up to show you how it works, right? So and it's honestly the same shit we talk about on the other channels where we talk about hollering at chicks and putting yourself out there and all that other shit and trying to become social so you can learn how to holler at bitches. Like if you want to be the guy that's good at talking to women, guess what you got to go do? You got to go talk to women. You understand? Right. If you want to be the successful businessman, guess what you got to go do? You got to go do business. You can't fucking sit there and talk about it and think about it and meditate on it. You understand? Because look, if you don't do anything, you're still fucking up.
Right.
You know why? Because not only are opportunities passing you, but time is passing. Every moment that passes is another moment that you are not moving closer to your goal.
Right.
So you still fucking up. You know what I'm saying? People think, well, if I don't make a decision, then I can't make a mistake. No, nigga, you still making a mistake. Every second, every hour, every day, every week, every month. That's you being further and further and further and further away from your goal. Because if you had started last week, you would have been a week closer to your goal.
Right.
You understand? Now, you're sitting there with your ego protected. Well, I haven't made a mistake. I haven't failed. but you're still a month out. You're still a year out. You're still 5 years out. You're still a decade out because you're sitting there scared of taking a chance, taking a risk to actually do something.
You know what the ironic part about this is that you're always taking risks every day, like every moment. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, as soon as you walk out to bed, like it's even being in, listen, there's nothing you can do to not be taking a risk, because existing is risky. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, because we're all going to die, but you could die now. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like no matter what you do, you taking a risk anyway. Because if you walk out of bed, you could trip and fall. You understand what I'm saying? If you eat, you could choke. There's always something that could potentially go wrong. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like. Like, you know
like Diddy, you trying to risk it all right now.
Exactly.
That shit is
there's so many things.
You know, it's funny you say that, because in every area, to your point, is risk. Like what Miles was just saying about the pharmaceuticals. Think about if somebody was sick and, you know, they had to decide whether they're gonna, you know, just not do the surgery or go through with the surgery. And they'll let the doctors will let you know the risk factor in doing the surgery, and you have to make that decision whether you want to do that surgery or not. You know, you not, you know, trying to stay healthy in your younger years, you're gonna risk you getting sicker in your older years. You know what I'm saying? So like there's literally like risk to every single thing that that we do in life. If you don't decide to take a bet on yourself and, you know, start your own business, you're going to continue to help funnel someone else's business for the rest of your life. That's risky too, because you're going to, the what ifs of you wanting to do something for yourself just decreases year by year. You know what I'm saying? So everything in life that we do is 100% a risk factor. And that's why I said, bet on yourself. What's the worst that's going to happen?
See, look what I showed you. I typed in what is in a flu vaccine. It says flu vaccine can typically contain the following components: inactivated influenza viruses. These are weakened or killed viruses that cannot cause the flu, but stimulate the immune system to produce antibodies against them. You understand? So you know, you have to become the thing. Right. Before you can get there. You can't just sit there and think about it. You can't just read a book.
Right.
You can't just have conversations with your friends. Think that it's bringing you closer to the shit. You got to do it. Right. You have to do it. You know, I tell people about, like, you know, like if you're in a certain industry and you're just starting out, find somebody that does what you, unless you're totally unique, right? Find somebody that does what you do and buy their product. Why would I do that? Why would I spend money on my competition? So you can see how it works.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
You see, it's the ego that make you think that's a dumb move. Because you're like, well, I'm trying to make money. Why would I spend money on my competition? Because, nigga, when you go to buy, you're going to go to their website. You're going to see the layout. You're going to see the description of the product. You're going to see how easy or hard it is for you to make the order. If you have a problem with the order, you're going to have to call customer service. You're going to get to see how they run their customer service. When you get a delivery of the product, you're going to see how they do their packaging. You understand? You're going to get to experience what your customers may experience.
Right. Exactly.
Then from there, you'll be able to say, I don't like the way they do that. I'm going to do my shit like this. You see what I'm saying? But what does the ego tell you? The ego tells you, that shit is stupid. You spending money on your competition. You're trying to make money. Why would you do that shit?
Right.
You see, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. A lot of you know, when we talk about risk, it's really just fear. It's really just fear. Niggas is afraid.
Right.
Niggas is afraid to spend their money. Niggas is afraid to invest time and energy. They're afraid to make mistakes.
Right.
But they don't realize that it's all the mistakes, the quote unquote failures, all of that shit is the journey that's necessary to turn you into the person that you're trying to be.
Right.
100%.
But you're sitting there, well, I don't want to fuck up. I don't want to do, like every once in a while we have our Media Monday shit where niggas, artists come through and they talk about this shit and they be like, oh, well, I was too afraid to put the music out. I have it on my hard drive, but I never uploaded it to YouTube. Why? They'll tell you some shit like, oh, well, I'm a perfectionist and I ain't really want to. No. You was just afraid of people's opinion.
Right.
You was afraid that you want to make you want to eat omelets all day, every day, but you don't want to crack a fucking egg. What's wrong with you? You see what I'm saying? But that's what it's about, man. But guys, I guess we about there, man. Y'all want to get the last word from LegacyBuildersUS.com?
Yeah, man. I mean, my last words would be: take the risk and go to our website, book an appointment. Get your life together.
That's the calculated risk because the consultation is free, nigga. Like, go to LegacyBuildersUS.com and the consultation is free, man.
We also got a workshop on March 1st in Stamford, Connecticut. It's on the Eventbrite and on the website, right? Or just the Eventbrite, right?
No, Eventbrite and website.
Okay, so go to the website. It's a free event. Take the risk and come out. The best thing that'll happen is you get some great information, you get some food, and the only risk outside of that is whatever you had to do that Saturday. Go ahead, risk it, come out, have a good time with us.
Hold on real quick. Let me see if I could Legacy Builders US. Here we go. Here go the website right here, guys. Legacy Builders US. Legacy Builders US. Where's it? So we got the events tab right here. Is this it? Is this the joint?
Yep.
There you go. All right, so Home Buyers Seminar, Saturday, March 1st, 2025, from 1 to 4 p.m. You're going to learn about budgeting, saving for a home, improving your credit for a mortgage approval. That's very important. These people, they all about that fucking paperwork, man. I tell you. Like, if the paperwork ain't right, you ain't getting shit. Yo, you could literally be as rich as fuck. You can have a bank account with $1 million in it and go to the same bank that you bank with and be like, yo, I need money to buy a house. And they look at you like, nah. I got $1 million in there right now. No, sir. I'm sorry. We can't do it. Your paperwork is not right. So yeah. Get your credit right for approval, understand the home buying process, and exploring loan options and down payment assistance programs. So, guys, and here go the Eventbrite right here. You could click right here on the Eventbrite. And let me see. Did it show? Did it show the Eventbrite? All right, good. All right, so you guys right here, man. Everything is right here. So make sure you guys come through and get your stuff going. You can follow these guys on Eventbrite because they always having events too. They always having events. So make sure you go holla at legacybuilders.com. Look, they got insurance, home ownership, credit restoration, financial services, property management, wills, interior design. Yeah, interior design too. Oh shit. Okay. All right.
Last thing I'll say before we get out of here is that, it is still Black History Month, right? And I would say that one of the biggest risks in general in life is what our ancestors had to do for us to have our freedom to do what we want to do. That was one of the biggest risks. Fact. So I say the fact that they had to go through what they went through for the past several decades, even a century ago, you should be able to want to take the risk, take the opportunity to do something with your life. Let's make it happen.
Exactly. Stop being a bitch. Take the risk. All right. So yeah, man.
All right, guys.
Show.
That's pretty much it. We'll see y'all guys later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. We going.